stardom when we came back. So
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be fine.
right. But hey, everybody, it's been a minute. Happy New Year, right?
That's time, yeah.
So where have me and Justin been? We've been in a lot of places. We went to San Juan, Puerto Rico, right before
Mhm.
Christmas. So that's where we've been. I think San Juan got me sick, Justin, and maybe Yao sick because of San Juan too.
Yeah, it's Maya was a little sick during that trip too, right?
Yeah. So me and Maya were sick.
Yeah, we
You
should have done a video on San Juan though, show everyone where we were at. That place was nice.
right. You know what? We should get some photos together so we can show everybody some proof that we were in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Yeah. So me and Justin did a little trip. I'm pretty sure we're gonna take many more trips together around the world. Because Justin's a world traveler, by the way, guys. He's been to like just about everywhere, literally.
I'm slowing down in my old age though. The young man's game.
In your old age.
Yeah.
And then where else? So I was sick, guys. So when I'm sick, I can't talk. And I know you can hear it, guys. Like I haven't really like talked much except for this week for class because I'm in seminary school. I'm also in class. I had like a compact semester. So you know how in colleges they do like at TSU they call it a May semester. That's where in the month of May you could take a course instead of taking it for a whole entire winter or fall semester. You could take it within a month. But for this time around, I took a course just for 2 weeks. Like it was a 2 week course. But we only last week we're doing readings for the class. This week we actually had class, and it wasn't even mandatory to attend. So yeah, that's where I've been. Justin, he's been places too, right? Like, I guess you don't have an excuse. You could have went live if you wanted to,
Yeah, I could have.
right?
Kind of our thing though. I don't go live by myself.
Right. But Justin actually posted a video on his YouTube channel, guys. You got to check out. All right, but yeah, let's go ahead and get to it. So we got a treat for you guys today. So, um, as you guys know, I'm gonna share my screen. Um, so on my YouTube channel, Uplift past Crossroads, me and Justin have done a lot of videos together. Uh, one of the series that I have that's one of my favorite on my YouTube channel, Upload Past Crossroads, is titled, I Hate My Birthdays.
Hmm.
So for my birthdays is a pretty difficult time just because since I was 25, I haven't I've been since I was 25, I've always been sad on my birthdays. And so they called it like when you're 25, a quarter of a century crisis or something like that because it's like a midlife crisis.
A
So,
midlife crisis, yeah.
right. So I had a midlife crisis at 25. And that's only because like I felt anytime it's my birthday, I had expectations when I was younger,
Uh,
you know, when it came to what I would be, who I would be with, what I would have by a certain age, right? And when I hit 25, I wasn't at where I thought I would be. When I hit, 28, I wasn't at where I thought I would be. And now I'm 31, right? And so on my 30th birthday, it was probably the worst. Like that was like it was just as bad. It was worse than 25. And 25 was pretty bad too. So yeah, man, at 30, man, I just I reached out to everybody on my social media platform. I made a post and just talked about like, I just need prayer and I hate my birthdays. So if you got any advice, any prayer, let me know. Like just shoot it at me, hit me with everything. And everybody went in, man, on my social media platform. So if you're one of those people, I want to thank you very much. So one of the people that actually reached out to me, her name's Amanda Jack. She's been married, so she changed her last name. So that's good. So you can't really look her up now. But Amanda Jack, uh, when I first moved to Mount Juliet, Tennessee, um, she was in my, one of the first classes I took. It was a science class. Teacher's name was like Miss Little, but I sat with Amanda. Amanda had red hair. She like, I always called her Mary Jane from Spider-Man because that was the same time Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man came out with Green Goblin. So that was the first time Spider-Man was like that cool on live action on TV. So yeah, so that's my childhood. Man, we're so old now, Justin. But just saying,
there's been like already 3 Spider-Man.
right? So yeah, Amanda has always been kind-hearted and nice, and just really just sweet. Like I love Amanda, man. So like for my birthday, she saw my post that I made last year on my birthday and how sad I was and stuff. And so this is what she messaged me, right? I want you guys to hear it. Let me know if you can't hear it. I think you'll be able to because I'm playing it from my phone. But she messaged me this on Facebook Messenger, all right? So here we go. Hey, Sean, I just saw your post on Facebook and I wanted to speak some life over it. You have definitely encouraged me through your posts about God and about worry and all of these truths that he shares with us through his word. And I know sometimes it can feel dim and it can feel like we're the only person that sees the light or, whatever. Life on earth is hard. But I just want to encourage you that because I've had these thoughts and feelings too. Like, I thought my life would look totally different. I was married. I thought I would have kids by now. I thought my husband would still be here, but now I'm starting over and I'm 30. So I just want to encourage you that everything we get to experience here is a gift, and it's not all that we're living for. We are living for a kingdom that goes beyond this earth. And thankfully, God allows us to partner with him here on the earth to bring his goodness and his love and his light and his joy to the people around us. And that is the most important thing. And it doesn't always feel like it is valuable. It doesn't always feel like we're doing enough when we focus on those things. They feel little, but they're actually huge. There are so many people in this world who are living with pain and fear and depression, and they don't know the love of God that heals and that awakens us to live without having to fit into the narratives of our life that we try to form for ourselves. He has a plan for you to prosper, to give you a hope and a future. He wants us to dream, and he will partner with us in our dreams. But ultimately, we aren't living for this world. Everything in this world that we could achieve or attain by a certain time is going to fade away anyway. So our unique privilege as believers in Jesus is that we get to invite him to walk beside us on our path in life, and we get to share our hopes with him, and we get to be surprised on the path with him. Some of those things may not come to pass, and they may not come to pass in the timing that we want, and that's really hard. And it's good to let him know about our disappointment in those areas, but also just want to encourage you to keep your eyes up and keep them focused on Jesus. Don't look to the left or the right, because he sees you and he is speaking through you, Sean. He's speaking through you to bring hope and life to the world around you. And that is the greatest achievement of all time, to partner with God and allow his glory to shine through you. Yeah. So
beautiful. I like that.
Right. So
That
when
was
she
very well said.
right, yeah, when she sent me that video, I mean that it was a voice memo.
Mhm.
And yeah, when she sent it to me, man, like it was exactly what I needed to hear on my 30th birthday. So I'm 31. So I said last year she sent me that. No, she sent me that you guys know, like when I turned 30 in 2000, whatever that was. So last year I turned 20, I turned 31. This year I'll be 32. I got a weird birthday. It's December 28th. All right. So um yeah, when she sent me that, man, it just touched my heart so much. And like, this is why I wasn't that sad for my birthday this year around my 31st birthday, because I was just thinking about a lot of the stuff that a lot of people told me, like when they gave me encouragement, when I was sad on my 30th birthday. I was just thinking about all the lessons they taught me and stuff. Like Terry, he told me, he asked me a question. He said, Sean, he said, are you at where you were a year ago? I said, no. Like he said, did you make progress? Like and progress or did you take steps back, compared to last year? I was like, no. He said, why are you complaining then? Like, why are you sad? He's like, at least you're making strides, you're making progress. It may not be the kind of strides and progress that you want. He said, but at least you're making them. And he said that's an accomplishment. He said sometimes you just gotta thank God for the small accomplishments, the small achievements. And
Mm,
then, I thought about that. I thought about what Amanda said as well. Like, you know, it goes with, the title of today's video, pursuing earthly treasures. When it comes to this life, what are you pursuing? What is your goal? Does your goal even align with what God's goal is for your life? Because the reason why I was sad was, from an earthly standpoint, I was focusing on earthly goals. Like, I'm gonna
mm,
throw some out. Like, at 31, obviously I should have about 3 kids because my goal is 6, right? An earthly goal. Like, I mean, it could be a heavenly goal, whatever you want to call it, right? But still, like, it's not really like, you see what I'm saying. I'm not married yet. I want to be married. I want a house,
mm.
right? Like, I still at my parents' house but I made a lot of strides because I'm at my parents' house, right? Like, um, what else? I want to be a preacher, but like the greatest preacher ever at 31, I definitely thought I would be up there with Joel Osteen, Stephen Furtick, and just have like one of the greatest ministries ever. I wouldn't think I'll be an amateur because that's basically what I am. Like, look on my social media pages, some good numbers, but it's not like the top social media platform ever. Like, when you hear Grace to You, do you know what Grace to You is, Justin? Just for me saying that, or
Not sure if I do.
I'll just name a few like ministries, like Bible Project. Um, you got what's Charles Stanley's ministry? I mean, but anyways, Elevation Church. Pastor Stephen Furtick, Chuck Swindoll, Turning Point. I think that's his. But I mean, like, there's well-known ministries around the world. That's my whole point. I thought by now, I would have a well-known ministry, and I would get paid and be able to put everything I got into that full time. You see what I'm saying? So, I
Mm,
mean, but you guys get it. Basically, I thought I'd be way further ahead than what I am, and it's
mm,
like, yeah, like I want to say a scripture verse, but I'm gonna let Justin say something in a minute. But basically, we just gotta learn how to be content and be satisfied with where we're at and what God is doing in our lives. Just like Amanda said at the very end of her video, like, you gotta focus on Jesus. Like, stop focusing on what you don't have and what you want to accomplish and what's missing. Like, when you do that, it leads to frustration and depression and feelings, sad like I was. Like, honestly kind of suicidal a little, because I
mm.
struggle. I won't say I struggle with it, but I can if I really allow that to bring me to a dark place. So just I'll let you go ahead, man.
Yeah. Gosh, there's a lot to say about it too. I think, yeah, I think we do let the world tell us like what we need to make us happy, or what we need to be successful. And I don't think it's a bad thing to set up a plan or goals in our life, but a lot of times that becomes our identity for sure. Like that becomes who we are. And I was actually watching I'm really glad I watched this before we did this video, but I was watching this YouTube series called We Are the Champions. It was really interesting. It talks about like these bizarre competitions that people do. And today, like there was a pepper eating contest, or hill running after in Britain. But the one I watched today was about um, it was about hairstyling, and it had all these fantastical elements and like crazy designs and even crazier hairstylists. And like it was like big personalities and like big people, but you kind of hear them talking about how they're going gosh, I don't even remember their names. They were talking about how they were going to like make this their world, or like the moment they step on that stage, people better watch out because it's going to be their world. And then they don't even win and stuff like that. And it's like like what happens after that then? Like do you tie your identity so much into like what you do, or like the name that you make for yourself? Like so if you lose, does that mean like you have no identity? Is like it's very it's just very dangerous about like conforming to our world and like what it tells us should make us happy. Heck, the commercials, that's the strategy of commercials. The point of selling a product is one of two things. It's going to be either one, making you believe that your life is better with the product, or two, freaking you out, or like using fear tactics on what your life would be without that product.
Mhm.
So it's, I don't know, like Sean for sure. Man, just watching Sean grow has been a huge journey, a huge blessing for me too. Like he's been helping me grow too. I wouldn't change anything about our journey so far. But like if you compare it to the like your expectations or what you feel like life was supposed to be about, yeah, it's gonna look worse than it actually is. But like, what's the thing we always say? Comparison is the killer of joy,
Yeah,
and like that's exactly what it is. Like I've, I think Sean really summed it up nice. You have to just be content. You don't have to be complacent. We said so many times that's a difference, but
mhm.
you definitely need to be content or like appreciate the things God has done with your life.
Yeah, yeah, and like I'm gonna say a few quotes to you guys. Like one of them is, "We doom ourselves to a life of frustration and emptiness when we choose to pursue more earthly treasures." And like that's the question. Like, what are you pursuing? You know, what makes you happy? Is it earthly treasures or heavenly treasures? Right? Like, if you're looking for satisfaction elsewhere, right? So in a certain relationship or relationships, which are many, like with your parents, your siblings, your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wives, whatever it is, illicit relationships, pornography, sports, gambling, power, popularity, religion. I beg of you to leave it all because it will use you up and leave you empty. Like nothing on this earth will ever satisfy you. So even if I did like accomplish all the things I want to accomplish, I guarantee there would still be things I'm trying to chase and trying to like accomplish, and I will never be satisfied. And that's everybody. Like we're all trying to make it in some kind of way or trying to accomplish something, I hope. Right. And so in saying that, we always want more. Like we always, thinking there's something better out there when we're missing out on what God is doing in our lives right now, right? We're missing out on praising God for what He's doing right now. Like we're missing out on just the moment that God has us in, because we're always, looking ahead or looking somewhere else instead of looking right now.
Mm.
Because what's funny is all of us, I feel like everybody, just about, especially if you're older, like we're all in a place where we used to pray for. Like, you know what I mean? Like we pray for the life that we have, like the blessings that we have. They're right in front of us now, right?
Mm.
But now we want other things and they're not in front of us. So we're doing things it takes to get to it. But it will never be winning when you're losing your soul to get it. And so many people, they'll do anything for some type of treasure, whatever that treasure is, right? Whatever they're looking for and searching for, they'll do anything for it. But like it's not gonna satisfy you. It's still gonna leave you empty. It's just gonna leave you frustrated,
Mm.
right? And so that's the whole point. All these things that I'm trying to accomplish and do, like God's been trying to tell me. See, I wasn't in the moment at the age of 30.
Mm.
I'm kind of more in tune now. So I don't know if I'll always be okay on my birthdays. But now, like, I can admit, like Sean, those are all, it could be called a pipe dream. It could be called like, like, yeah, there's some nice dreams and goals, but like at the end of the day, is that what you really want? Right? Because even when you get it's earthly stuff, right?
Mm.
And so that goes back to what Amanda was saying. Amanda was saying, you're already storing up treasures in heaven. Like storing up treasures in heaven is way more valuable. It's way more everlasting. It's way more satisfying, right? Especially in the end. And that's the question. So Nick Saban and Bill Belichick just retired. And Nick Saban, he told one of his players, he said, don't make a 4-year goal. He said, don't make a 4-year decision. Make a 40-year decision.
Mm.
That's bars right there. So don't make a 4-year decision, make a 40-year decision. So I'm gonna stop talking and figure out what the audio
Oh
says.
yeah, yeah. The audio's
Yeah,
kind of going out. Yeah.
I'll let you go.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think. Hmm. I kind of want to talk. What you were saying kind of struck a chord with me with like something she was saying on her audio. It's kind of like how what God's plan is for us. Um, and that's always very difficult because lots of people, I think, we have an idea of what God has for us instead of trying to figure out what God has for us. Like, kind of a sad story. Like, I had a friend who, she had gotten pregnant, and she was like convinced that this was a gift from God, which of course, it would be. She and her husband like already bought the baby stuff. They found out it was a girl, so they bought girl stuff. But like just a couple of days later, like she had a miscarriage, which like 90% of miscarriages will happen like but under 12 weeks, and she was only like 7 weeks, so it was like really early. And it's like that devastated her, and like I think it hurt more just because she came fixated on like this is what God had for her. I think the same for like if we look at the 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 Israelites who came out of Egypt, like what was that? I'm blanking on the which book that was in, but it's talking about how God has a plan for you, uh, plans to plans to prosper you and not to fail you.
Yeah,
Um, but like if you look at their life, like they were stuck in the desert for like 40 years, so it was like in the it wasn't until the next generation that they got to see the promised land. And it's like, did any of them think that was like that was the plan God had for them? Or like the disciples under Jesus, like so many of them, from the scripture, it seemed like they thought that Jesus was going to come back in their lifetime. They wouldn't imagine like 2,000 years later, like he still hasn't come back. So a lot of times we think we know what God's plan is for us. Honestly, I don't think there is a hard set plan for everybody. This is just my opinion, so I'm apologize for going off script. I do think um I do think God has a general plan for us. But I think he does allow us enough autonomy, enough free will to like make our own decisions, make our own mistakes, make our own choices to divert the path a little bit. It's kind of like someone gave a really good analogy of it. It's like there's a river flowing, like a stream, and it always does one direction, but you can throw a rock in it, you can cause ripples in it, and but the flow will still be there. I do think our lives are like ripples in that flow. Like God does give us enough choices where we have that freedom where it can be like anything. And I think that's beautiful in itself. But we still have like that primary timeline, that primary direction that he's going to have everything go. Or it's kind of like the forest. Like you can still have a huge forest, but each individual tree may have like different details or a different path, but it's still going to be part of that forest. I do think like we can make plans for ourselves, but like we do need to leave some room for like God to God to let the flow of our lives go in a certain direction.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna share my screen. I want to read the scripture verse that ties in with this. And obviously, I'm frozen, but I'm talking obviously. So, all right. So at least you guys can hear me. So, scripture verse that ties in with today's video. So, I titled today's video "Pursuing Earthly Treasures." And when you pursue earthly treasures, it only leaves you empty. It only steals your joy. It's only a thief in the night. And that's what Jesus is talking about in the parable on the mount. And I should really read all of Matthew 6 because like I love Matthew chapter 6. I actually did a Sunday school lesson on Matthew chapter 6 a few years ago at my dad's church that he used to be at, Scotts Chapel AME Church. He was there for like 25 years. But here goes the scripture verse that I want to read. Matthew 6, verses 19 through 21. It says, do not store up treasures. Do not store up for yourselves. It's for yourself. I didn't get my markup tool because this is so deep. I done read this so many times now that I already know God's what to have his way. So let's do this real quick. So do not store up. That's the most important part. But for yourselves, it's for you. It ain't for nobody else. Earth treasures on earth. Like it's so dope. So like when you pursue earthly treasures, you know, you kind of already got what you're gonna get. That's it. That's all it's gonna be. It's only for the earth and it's for yourself. And in saying that, it's when it's a real blessing, it's for other people. When it's a real blessing, it's gonna
Mm.
bless everybody. If it's really from God, it's gonna edify everybody,
Mm.
right? It ain't just for you, right? Some blessings are just for you, but when it comes to things that are gonna last, that's how we gotta live our lives. So let me go ahead and read this. All right, I don't need to mark it up. So do not store up for your treasure. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moths and vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So I'm gonna do another video on verse 21. So I'm gonna try to avoid it, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna mention it. So, but let's just start with 19. And Justin, if you got something you want to mark up, just let me know.
All right.
Like it's something that's out to you, right? So do not store up for yourself treasures on earth, right? Where moths and vermin destroy. So when you pursue earthly treasures, it's bound to be destroyed. Nothing on earth lasts. There's nothing on earth that will last. Everything will turn to rust,
Mm.
dust, and just, not be you know, as usable, all those things as it once was. I'm gonna use the pyramids for example. You think the pyramids that in Egypt, the pyramids, you think the pyramids look as good as they did when they were first created? Like things don't stay new. They become, and over time they rust away. If not, they fall apart, and then eventually they get destroyed. And it could be because the climate, the weather. It could be a lot of reasons. But even our clothing, our clothing. Justin, it's my goal to buy clothing that stays on me and I can wear for all my life. But the longer I live, the longer I figured out like clothing don't last that long. Like it lasts probably 6 years is a good amount of time.
Mm.
But if you wear it a lot, boy, them jeans are gonna rip, man.
Mm.
Like some of my jeans, man, you can see my underwear. Like, and I still wear it, but
Same.
but you guys get
Honestly,
what I'm saying,
same. Yeah.
right? Like, and then my underwear. Don't get me started on that. I got holes in my underwear. My family makes fun of me. Socks, I got holes. Like, I still wear it, but they hit me up for Christmas, so I don't need to do that no more. I actually got a lot of underwear. But anyways, you guys get what I'm saying. Like, nothing on earth lasts. But that's how we live. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick. That's how we live. We live as if everything that we have is gonna last. It's gonna be here forever.
Mm.
And that's not the case. We even do our best to keep stuff as if we're gonna be able to keep it forever. But eventually, you know, you're gonna lose some things. Some things are just gonna break. Some things are just not gonna last. So when you bank on earthly stuff, Jesus is saying, this is Jesus' sermon. I think this is a Sermon on the Mount, right, Justin? I think Matthew 5,
I
6,
think
and
so.
7 is
Yeah.
the Sermon on the Mount, right? And the Sermon on the Mount that Jesus told is known as probably his best sermon, the greatest sermon ever. Like this is where Jesus literally talked about how earthly, he used earthly analogies to pertain to and to describe heavenly things. And he was saying, you need to be, how's your heavenly bank account? That's basically what he's asking. How is your heavenly bank account? How is your investment in heaven? Because that's what you should be invested in. You should be storing up treasure in heaven. You should be getting ready for heaven. If you believe that heaven, if you believe heaven exists, if you believe in Jesus and God and all those things, you should be banking, putting all your eggs in this basket. This is what he's saying. It's like, why are you investing in anything on the earth? That's not saying you don't need to have any investments, because honestly, money shows just who your God is. Money shows, you know, shows how much discipline you have.
Mm.
If you can save, if you have a lot of money, right? It shows a lot of things, right? Your integrity and everything. Money shows a lot, right? And Jesus is saying, like, okay, it's fine to have those things, but to make your whole livelihood and your whole being into earth, anything earthly, it is a bad investment. It's very foolish to do. Why? Because it will end up being destroyed. And not only that, and just I'm gonna let you talk. I know you got something, man. Not only that, I'm staying with verse 19. Let me mark this up real quick. I want you guys to see this. Is it still there? No, it's not even there no more. I gotta start over. So it says, do not store up, right? Store up for yourselves. It's for you, and it's foolish to do. Treasures on earth, right? Where it can be destroyed and where thieves can break in and steal. So the question is, we think of that and we think of thieves, can take what we have. The IRS can take what we have. You can work hard and everything that you work for can end up gone from freaking hospital bills or something. Like the littlest thing. I don't care how much money you got. You could lose it all just like that. And it may take time the more money you got, but eventually you can lose all your money. Donald Trump has gone bankrupt a few times, actually, just in case you
Yeah,
didn't know.
that's right.
So, like, yeah, anybody can lose their money, right? So we can see that as being thieves. That's obvious. But you want to know what else is a thief? You can still. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to say this, but you could be the thief that Jesus is talking about, right? You could be the thief that break in and steal all your earthly treasures by not investing. You have to invest now, especially now, in order to survive in this world because of inflation. As we all know, everything's only going up in price. You think the 1% in the wealthy is going to make everything go down? Wall Street, they're going to make everything go down and be a fair value, fair price. No, they want more money, right? So everything's going up in value. You got to have more money. You got to work more. And that's that. You got to work more in order to make more money in order to survive in this life. That's why you invest,
Mm.
right? So like we're a thief is we're a thief in and of ourselves because we don't know how to operate in this life. That's just one example, right? We could be a thief with our marriage, cheating on our spouse or something like that. The person that God gave you to love, right? So you're breaking in and stealing what God has already called. He gave you a treasure already. You need to treasure it and enjoy it and appreciate it. That's the whole point. Just saying, like you're pursuing earthly treasures. You're putting all your eggs in these earthly treasures, right? But at the end of the day, no matter what the earthly treasure is, it's a bad investment to say that this is it because it's all temporary. Even when you die, death is a thief. It can steal everything. Because what's funny, no matter how much money you got, no matter what else? No matter I'm trying to get rid of this like stuff on my
Mm.
screen. No matter how much money you got, no matter how much stuff you possess, which in America we possess a lot of things.
Yeah.
We own a lot of things, right? Material things is it. That's what America pushes on us. But like you can't take that to the grave with you. So death is the greatest thief of them all. It breaks in and steals
Mm.
everything. It only goes back to everybody else.
Mm.
And then nobody wants it because it become raggedy and rigged and all those things. So like just to invest in earthly things. This is how Jesus starts off in just the first verse. Like it's stupid. It's a bad way to live, right? So just I'll let you go, man.
Yeah, man. I love that line that you said. Death is like the worst thief of them all because, like, when we die, we don't take anything with us, and that makes me think a lot about like legacy as well. Like, what are we leaving behind? Like we can't take anything with us, and everything we leave behind we're not using anyway. Really, it's just junk once we die. Like, yeah, maybe our friends and family can keep using the stuff we leave behind, but then they'll die one day too. And it does make me think about, like, I don't know, just legacy. I'm not sure if like that girl said legacy or if you said legacy, but that word's just sticking in my mind now.
Yeah.
And it's like you see a lot of people, and we talked about this when we were talking about celebrities. It's like we're made to believe that celebrities are like movie stars or famous people are like it's the best life that you can have. But man, you look through the turmoil they go through and they die as well. Like Ecclesiastes, like the rich, the poor, the good, the bad, the good, the evil, like they everyone dies. It's just the fact of life. Like the what's that saying? Like everyone has two things in common. Has two things in common: is they die or they pay taxes. And I think what we leave behind should be so much more than that. Like
Mm,
I don't know. I hope when I pass away, people aren't going to be happy with like the money or like the souvenirs I leave behind. I would hope they would be happy with like the memories or the impact that I've had. And I really think there's no greater impact than like the encouragement or love of Jesus. Like that just pursues forever. That's timeless. Um I don't know, when I have friends or family who are like distressed or they need help, like throwing money at the problem doesn't really help, but it's like that legacy, the it's that kindness and encouragement. Like you can't steal that. Like you can let yourself lose it. You can let comparison kill it off. But no, that's one of the things like the thief won't come for. Is like the encouragement or love that you pass on to other people. Like that's timeless, and then they pass it on to the next person. Like that's it's that thing that doesn't, even after you die, like that's something that really persists. Like when we go to those pearly gates one day and like see God, like that's hopefully one of the things that God can be pleased with, is that we encouraged our fellow brother, we encouraged our fellow sister, we encouraged our family and friends. Um, so it's I don't know, like it's it disappoints me to see celebrities talk about the accomplishments they've made or like the fame that they've brought. And I don't want to put down anyone's accomplishment, believe me. But when you brag so much about your accomplishments, like again, that becomes like who you are. That supposedly becomes your legacy. And it's like that's not going to live forever. That's like people will remember who you are, but like we also have to remember like a lot of in today's cancel culture, like you can't hide anything anymore either. So they're going to dig up some dirt on you. And then your legacy is kind of tarnished because of that.
mm,
Like the Michael Jordan documentary. Man, like that didn't diminish like how good Michael Jordan is at all. Like he's still the goat like of basketball. Like no, like barely anyone can touch him. Maybe a couple names could touch Michael Jordan. But you also see like how much chaos and havoc was kind of in his personal life. And it's like, man, I remember watching Space Jam when I was younger and just like thinking, oh man, this is like best movie ever. I think I
mm,
still have it in VHS somewhere, if you guys even know what that is. But I remember when I was older, and like in his family, quote unquote family, was showcased in the movie. I remember when I was older finding out he had like divorced and like familial problems and like being devastated because like the movie gave me this image of what he was like. And it's like he's still like the best basketball player ever, but like his legacy was a little tarnished for me. And it's
mhm,
like I don't know, when you just brag about yourself, like you're pretty much going to be your own worst enemy. You kind of drag yourself down. But like if you lean into God, like yeah, the church has gotten a bad rap for a long time, and it always will, because like people are people. Like we are going to do things that tarnish that reputation. But man, the legacy that God leaves behind, the foundation that he leaves is always going to like help people in the future. It's always going to help the widow and the orphan. It's always going to like encourage somebody. Otherwise, it wouldn't have persisted for like centuries like this. So, like that's a legacy that we need to work to leave behind. That's something that won't be stolen. That's something that won't be burned up. It's like a foundation we can trust in.
Trying to find a picture because it ties in with this. I just have to scroll all the way on my Instagram page. It's a lot. I have like over 3,000 posts, guys, so I have to really
Oh,
scroll.
wow. Yeah, that's going to be a while. Which post are you looking for?
The same one we used before when we talk about enjoying what you have
Oh, yeah.
rather than what you don't have.
Yeah, that's a
So
good one.
if you had anything else, I'll let you go. But I can go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I can, if you want, if you want to look for that, I can keep going too. It's
Yeah.
like, uh, it's kind of funny because like, I hope this isn't too out of left field, but humility is like a big part too. If you're humble, things fall into place. If you're humble, you kind of get out of God's way. Man, a lot of times when I see competition, I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot about competitions, but I feel like it just struck a chord with me on this lesson.
Yeah.
If you're in a competition and you haven't done anything yet, and you're just like talking yourself up, it's like I want you to lose. I'm sorry, but it's like I don't know why. I just don't want you to win. I want someone to feed you some humble pie. But like that's a big thing too, is like sometimes we get in our own way. Sometimes we'll have
Mm.
like expectations or plans for our future that we get in our own way. Like we try to take a path that God has not set for us. So like we get in our own way. Like we're not getting in God's way. No one can get in God's way. If anything, we're just getting in our own way. But like if we humble ourselves, a lot of people think humility is a weakness because like um we're putting ourselves down. But no, I think humility serves for two things. One, it doesn't put us down, it lets other people go first, which I think is just an act of kindness. The second thing, the main thing I'm want to point out is humility gets ourselves out of the way so God can go forward. Like so God can be channeled through us. And like that's the I feel like I don't know, when I see a competition and someone's just like they humble themselves, they give credit where credit is due. Like they don't give a sob story of like how they've had to fight to the top, which I do like a good sob story every now and then. But it's like it go it really goes to their head though. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't take long for those type of stories to go to people's head. Like no one can beat me. Like I worked for this. No one can take it away from me. And then someone takes it from them. Like
Hmm.
no one's at the top forever.
Yeah.
Man, there were some good quotes from Creed too. I won't bring those up now because that's kind of but man, that I feel like that movie was really good in explaining that. But
Mm.
it's like when you give credit where credit is due, when you give credit to God, like that takes the pressure off. Like you can walk with confidence when you do that. When you are fighting for yourself, suddenly like everything is at stake. Like you can lose everything. You lose your identity if you lose. Like that's way too much pressure. Like no one needs that amount of responsibility. But if
Yeah.
you are fighting for God, like if you're putting that on his plate as you go forward, like suddenly like that pressure's off. Like you can walk with confidence. Sorry, I'm getting a little off topic
No,
now.
you're good.
But like you do need to like sometimes just like get rid of the list. Maybe not get rid of the list. I'm a list person, so that I
Mm.
don't think I can say that without being a hypocrite. But it's like maybe like get rid of some of the things you thought you were going to do and just let God like work through you. Like
Right.
that doesn't mean God doesn't want you to work hard. Like work hard. Like shoot, the disciples had to work hard to become martyrs. Paul worked hard to like get where he was, and so like God does want us to work hard too, but we need to be careful about like what we're working towards as well. Like, are we working and being our own worst enemy? Are we working towards like the path that like God has for us? Like, are we gonna be like so big headed that we put everything on the line just for it to be destroyed, or do we humble ourselves so we can like walk with confidence?
Hmm. Man, you You keep on saying things that make me have to look up and
Oh
put
yeah,
stuff in here.
I feel like I'm all over the place. I feel like now that I'm, I feel like now that I've like gathered up some speed, I'm saying maybe too many things.
Right? No, you're good, man. First of all, Space Jam is my favorite movie of all time. Space Jam and
Oh,
Like
was it
Mike.
your favorite? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Like Mike
I
and
didn't know
Space Jam.
that. I knew you
Hands down.
liked it.
Yeah. So, and I still watch it. Like Power Rangers too, the very first Power Ranger movie.
Oh yeah,
I'm watching
that's
Power
my
Rangers.
jam.
Yeah, I watched those movies religiously. All right, so yeah, man. What was I gonna say? I'm just gonna say what I was gonna say. All right, so we're talking about humility. I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. But man, like Amanda was saying, it's all about what you focus on, man. Like so many of us, we're missing out on life because we're focused on the wrong things. Like life ain't about consuming more. That's what capitalism, honestly, white supremacy, like that's the way of the world. That's what they try to push on you. Like
Mm,
you have to work, 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 work for more, more,
mm,
more, more, more. Like in order to be enough, you gotta work, 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 work. Right. And not only that, in order to be enough, in order to be worthy, you like if you're not here at this level as a preacher, you're not worthy. You ain't done nothing, right? If you're not here at this level in your profession, like you ain't done
mm,
enough. You're not enough, right? Work harder, be better, right? And so that was the lie that I was being fed and telling myself on my birthdays. But like pursuing earthly treasures, is it worth it? Or is there something better? And that's what Jesus was saying. Like, if you want to experience happiness, you want to experience satisfaction instead of emptiness, instead of depression, instead of being frustrated, man, you better make sure you're focused on heavenly treasures because that pays way more, right?
mm,
Heavenly treasures last, right? You do anything on the earth, it's temporary,
mm.
right? You accomplish anything on the earth, it's temporary. Can Michael Jordan take all his MVPs with him when he's dead? No. Even Kobe Bryant, he's my favorite basketball player ever. Where can he
Mm.
take the 81 points? It's just in the record books. His name's great, but at the end of the day, he can't take it with him to the grave or to heaven. So everything that happens on the earth is really going to be destroyed. It
Mm.
doesn't matter. It amounts to anything. That promotion you got, can you take that to heaven with you? Does it matter? Like it's maybe between you and God, like if you're faithful, utilizing your spiritual gifting and abilities, yeah, sure. But like, what? How do you store up treasures in heaven? So that's another video. We're not gonna go there yet, but that's the whole point. Storing up earthly treasures. I mean, storing up heavenly treasures. Like, so yeah, man. So Amanda was saying, like, Sean, like, you're preaching the gospel, man. Like, there's time when you posted, and what you posted touched me. So, like, what are you saying? Like that you're sad for, right? Because like to everybody else, Terry even said that. He said Terry said everybody else can see that you're blessed, but you like.
Yeah.
He said
It's
everybody
funny.
else. He said everybody else can see that you got a lot to be thankful for, but you like. And I was like, dang, Terry, get home with that one. So making a treasure out of earthly distractions may seem appealing, but it won't last. Declaring a treasure that is spiritual in nature and centered in love will result in absolute and endless joy. So, if we're focused on accumulating wealth here on the earth, which many of us are, even me sometimes, actually, most of the time, I'm not gonna lie. So, if we're focused on accumulating wealth here on the earth, our interests and our hearts are attached to this earth. We end up putting material things and the interest in them in front of God. If we put our focus on our eternal home, our hearts are attached to heaven, and God
Mm,
takes first place in our lives as He should.
mm,
So does God have first place right now in your life or not? Right? Is heaven your home? And if it is, what are you doing like to it right now? Because when you store treasure in heaven, you're storing up rewards in heaven. You're storing up,
mm.
furniture probably for your house in heaven. Like you're storing up things that you'll need for all the rest of eternity, right? This is what we should be focused on, man. You know, I want. Dang it! Why am I coughing now?
Just getting too excited.
This is why we ain't doing no videos. thought I was good. Oh God.
Just calm down. No, you got yourself excited.
Anyway.
Preaching the word too hard.
Oh man, this sucks. Okay.
Sorry, man.
So I tweeted this on my birthday, actually, December 28, 2023. I turned 31. All right, I tweeted, when the world is your desire, you'll be committed to storing up earthly treasures. When Jesus is your treasure, you'll devote your life to live for his glory and the good of others. So the question is, who do you live for? Who's your treasure? What is your treasure? Is your treasure in that accomplishment that you're looking for, in that thing that you're, where, okay, I said I wasn't going to say it, but Jesus said, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So what has your heart? What takes most of your time? Like, what are you most passionate about? And what do you pursue the most in this life? That's your treasure. So is Jesus your treasure? Is heaven your treasure? Like, is that what you really want? Jesus even used a parable one time. I'm not gonna do it for this video. I'll just do a summary of it. And I don't really know it too well. So Justin, if you know it, you can break it down. But Jesus used a parable talking about the kingdom of heaven. It was a chapter in the Bible that he was just talking about the kingdom of heaven. And he was talking about it in different parables, different ways, and just describing the kingdom of heaven, what it's like. And when he was talking about one of them, he's saying that the kingdom of heaven is like a man who searched for a treasure and looked for it. Like he really was looking for this treasure, and he found it. Right? He finally found it, and then he ended up selling everything that he had for this, just because he found this one treasure. So the question is, are you willing to sell and get rid of everything you possess and own for Jesus? Like, are you willing to give up everything in this life for Jesus? Are you comfortable and ready to die and forsake everything for the kingdom of God? Is that your treasure? Because if you say no, you're just no different than the rich young ruler. And I'm spoiling videos that we're gonna do in the future. But like, you're no different than the rich young ruler who, when he came to Jesus and said, what must I do to get to heaven? Jesus said, you gotta, what does the Bible say? And the rich young ruler said, well, you gotta love your neighbor. And he just listed off commandments like love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul. And he said, I do that already. And Jesus said, that's good. He said, but something else you don't do is if you really want to make it to heaven, he said, sell everything that you have and follow me. And the rich young ruler went away sad. And it doesn't say if he did it or not. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't.
Yeah, you never find out.
Right. But like, the whole point is for us. Like, are you willing to forsake everything that the world tells you that you need for Jesus? Like, and so, yeah, so that's why I wasn't sad on my 31st birthday, just because my treasure is Jesus, man. Like, I may not be where I want to be, but like just the thought of accumulating more, accumulating wealth, trying to make it, like, yeah, honestly, like everybody's wired differently. I have to think like that, but I can't let it consume me. I can't let that define me. I can't let that be my treasure. Because, like Justin said, like we talk about all the time on our when we do videos and stuff together, it's all about self improvement. Becoming more, like being our best versions of ourselves. You're not to do that. You can't stay stagnant. You can't stay where you're at. You have to evolve, and that's what me and Justin strive to do every day. But like, you can't let that be the number one thing about you. Like, you're way more than that. You're more than enough. And so, like, yeah, man, like I was just listening to all the lies in my head, my flesh, the world, what it was telling me. But I'll let Justin, you got anything else, man?
Man, I just hope you feel better.
Right.
I do like that though. I think, yeah, that's what I was saying before, is like, we are put on this world to, like, no man is an island. Like, we're supposed to be encouraging one another. I think that's deeply what I really think that's what the word of God is supposed to look like. Like that's what Jesus looked like when he was here. He wasn't here to like necessarily tell us what we were doing wrong, what we were supposed to do to be doing right, which were some things, but he was meeting us where we needed to be met in order to be encouraged to follow the path of God. And I'm glad that Sean's story really exemplifies that too. Like I don't think there's any I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to have some desires. I think God does give us the joy of um, meeting desires or desiring something that we really want. Um, but I do think like we need to be encouraged during this path because like none of us are able to necessarily do it alone. Sorry, I'm floundering a little bit towards to the goal line, but it's like I don't know. It's like that's what the word of God should look like first and foremost. And I'm glad like Sean has been able to find people and brothers who are able to like encourage him through that time. And I think like that's going to be part of like our legacy, and that's going to be part of Sean's legacy. Is just the encouragement that God has to offer, and like even if our life isn't what it was supposed to look like, I guarantee like God has something much more grand in store for us, like things that we just can't imagine.
Oh man, I actually want to talk about humility. Come on, man, dang.
You're almost there, man. We're almost there, man.
All right, but you're talking about we were talking about contentment, so I want to
Mm,
do this. So, yeah, man, like in this life, God has already given you treasures. He's giving you, talents, time. He's giving you things to be grateful for and thankful for. And so, I hated my birthdays, and birthdays have been a sad time for
mm,
me because I'm always worried about what I don't have,
mm.
where I'm not at, instead of focusing on, you know, what I have, like
Yeah.
what God has done, what blessings I've already, what accomplished I already, have accomplished. And so I'm like this dude in this photo. He
Oh
has
yeah.
good friends, he has a family, he has a diploma, so he achieved some of his goals. He has someone that loves him, that's cooking for him. He has food on his table and even coffee and tea. He has a pet, that's happy to see him. So sometimes all you have to do is look around
Mm.
in order to just realize how blessed you are. And I know you guys can't see it. Maybe if I zoom in slightly a bit more, you can see it. But this is one of my favorite scripture verses of all time. It's Ecclesiastes 6, 9 through 10. So uh it's known that Solomon wrote it, but that's kind of debatable because
Mm.
some other people wrote the book of Ecclesiastes too, I think. But anyways, that's beside the point. Ecclesiastes 6, 9 reads, enjoy what you have rather than desiring what you don't have. Just dreaming about nice thing is meaningless. It's like chasing the wind. Everything has already been decided. It was known long ago what each person would be. So there's no use in arguing with God about your destiny. That is bars right there.
Mm.
Every single day, most people, we try to argue with God about our lives and like where we're at, and we're not happy.
Mm.
But it's already been decided. Like, so we just need to learn how to be content. And just I really want to write down a uh humility passages from this book that we have to read for class this week.
Okay.
Um so if you have anything, so I can finish writing it. So I want to talk about humility real
Oh
quick.
no, go
You
ahead
have
and
anything?
yeah, you go ahead.
All right, so
Okay.
I'll do this one. I really want to write down the other part, so I don't read it. I don't want to read it and then you don't see it. I want you guys to see it, but I wrote down this part. So Justin was talking about humility, like, but I want you guys to see this. So Thomas Merton,
Mm.
he wrote this on page 104. on a book titled New Seeds of Contemplation. Here goes the book, right? And so he said, if we were incapable of humility, we would be incapable of joy, because humility alone can destroy the self-centeredness that makes joy possible.
Mm.
Like,
I do like that. Yeah.
yeah. So like, if you want to be happy, you got to humble yourselves. That's the only way to be happy, and that's why God says, humble yourselves, right?
Mm.
He resists the proud but gives grace to the humble. That's what grace is: happiness, joy, peace, like satisfaction, contentment, no matter what you're experiencing in life. So pursuing earthly treasures, that's not humbling yourself. That's pride.
Mm.
That's being haughty. That's being foolish. God doesn't want us to live that way. So humility alone can destroy self-centeredness. Being content and happy alone can bring joy and satisfaction. So yeah, if you're not happy with your life, you're not satisfied because you're not humble.
Mm.
And this is the humble pie. God's literally humbling you right now, like saying, like, why are you searching for that when you already done this? Like, and so this is what matters. So that's what he's saying to me on my 30th birthday, my 31st birthday, and every birthday. Like, you're storing up treasures in heaven. You're gonna have a lot of riches in heaven. You're gonna have a lot to praise God for later on. And like Amanda was saying, you may not see the benefits of it right now. It may seem like nothing to you because you're planting seeds.
Mm.
You're making investments like I make every, just to know how crazy I go with my stocks. Like I be making investments with Bitcoin
Yeah.
and Ethereum and all my stocks like crazy. So like I do with that, that's what I'm doing with heaven. When I, make a tweet, I do 4 tweets a day, and then I post that everywhere on YouTube, Tumblr, Facebook, LinkedIn. You guys get it, Threads. So like I do it every single day, and then I try to do videos with Justin. 2 videos a week. But if it's Christmas time and we're in San Juan, Puerto Rico, like it's just hard to do.
Yeah.
So like, you had anything else, man?
Now, I do really like that last quote you had. It's like we really, I don't know. I'm not gonna butcher it, so I'm just gonna add a little bit. But when when we really do like focus in on just ourselves, like that does prevent us from, I don't know, it gives us anxiety, and anxiety is really just being worried about like what's going to happen to us in the future. Um, and I think the only way to really escape that is like one of two things. One, like trusting God, but two, like take it off of yourself. Like sometimes you have to focus on somebody else. And like that's, yeah, like if something good happens to you, you're happy. But if you can do something good for someone else, like that's pure joy right there. There's a difference between happiness and joy, which I think this is addressing. So sometimes we just have to get out of ourselves, in order to be like, in order to like truly find joy, or to like not focus on a culture that's so self-centered nowadays.
I'm almost done.
No, you're good.
This is bars, man. Yeah. I just gotta make the font way smaller so everybody can see it. Why do I have a
Oh,
car?
you're almost there.
Will make no sense.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's just because like you've been talking for a long time. You're just reaching your limit.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Everybody act like I'm sick in the house. I'm not sick. It's just I'm not used to talking, and I've been talking in class, but I guess I like talked in spurts. So I guess I
Yeah,
do.
also towards the end of the day too.
Again, it was bad. Okay,
Oh.
let's do this.
You want me to read it off for you?
Go.
All right. You get some water. I'll read it off. True humility. Humility contains in itself the answer to all the great problems of the life of the soul. It is the only key to faith with which the spiritual life begins, for faith and humility are inseparable. In perfect humility, all selfishness disappears, and your soul no longer lives for itself or in itself for God, and it is lost and submerged in Him and transformed into Him. It's Morton. Oh, I like that part. Like faith and humility are inseparable. That's definitely true. When you have faith, you're taking away that control from you. Putting you're putting like all the responsibility, all the control of what you would supposedly have over to God. And the only way you can do that is to humble yourself, to like let yourself believe that you don't have all the answers. You don't have the ultimate list of what your life should be like. I like that. I do like that. Faith and humility just go hand in hand.
Yeah. Yeah. If we were humble, the problems in our lives would go away. And one cannot have faith without humility.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's where the spiritual life begins. You know, it's
Mhm.
humility, then faith, and then the spiritual life begins. So, like, you can't store up treasures in heaven if you're not humble. You can't
Mhm.
store up treasures in heaven if you don't if you're not doing things to deny yourself and deny what you want and how you think life should be.
Mm.
So this is why we get so sad and depressed because we're selfish. You know, when you're humble, in perfect humility, selfishness disappears. Your soul no
Mm.
longer lives for itself or in itself, but for God, right?
Mm.
It's submerged with Him and it's
Yeah.
transformed into doing things the way He would if He was you, right? We become mini Christ, right?
Mm.
Mini Christ. You guys get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm done, man. This is bad. You
Yeah.
good?
Yeah, we got to wrap up. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today. Man, I just love that people were. It was just a great time for reflection, seeing the people who care about Sean and just giving that encouragement. So, thank you. I'm blanking on her name right
Amanda.
now. Amanda, that's right. Thanks to Amanda and Terry and all the real bros and sisters out there just supporting Sean. But if you're watching this on his YouTube channel, just be sure to uh, click that subscribe button for uh up shoot up uplift past crossroads. I almost got said up cross lift roads or something like that. I don't even know.
Bros.
All right, you take it away. I can't do that. This is
Yeah,
yours.
right. And they do the same with his YouTube channel. His YouTube channel, Chaplain's Log. Hey, he just posted a video, guys. Watch this video. He actually posted a video
It
right
is
here.
a yeah. It's from a friend of both of ours. His name's Brian.
Yeah,
We call him Flip in the motorcycle world, but man, his story is just his story's deep. But
right.
otherwise, check out our Facebook page as well. As always, you can DM one of us. That's how we got Amanda's video memo. But yeah, just and check out any other social media that's on there. Like Sean's got everything. He's got it's not Twitter anymore. I guess it's X. It's
Yeah,
got Instagram, Snapchat. Let me see what else is on there. TikTok, Threads, Facebook, LinkedIn. Just check out anywhere that just anywhere. This guy has like just encouraging material. You guys need to keep up on it all the time. He's posting all the time,
yeah,
especially now that the holidays are over. He's gonna pick up the speed.
right.
But otherwise, I just have YouTube and Facebook, so you can reach out to me on that as well.
Hmm. Then also, guys, if you enjoyed this video, you can watch way more. Like if you hate your birthdays like me and you need a revelation from God, check out this playlist right here. All right, and then also if you enjoy storing up treasures in heaven, me and Justin have talked about that a lot. Actually, like all these videos, kind of we're hitting on it and talking about it. So make sure to check out this playlist. You know, God will repay. What else I say? God rewards, rewards of God. So check out that playlist. And then Matthew 6, I got way more to say on Matthew 6, man. That chapter is so deep, man. So check out that playlist. I'm gonna wait to say anything about that. But all right, guys, thanks for tuning in. You guys have a good one. God bless. and make sure to store up treasures in heaven every single day, man. If you're wondering how to do that, be humble.
Mm,
It starts with humility.
yeah. But
So, well,
otherwise, just pray for our health, pray for our journey, pray for Sean's cough. But yeah, just be praying that we follow God's path.
all right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out.